more cool news then. After we wrapped up recording last week and we discussed that GCW had announced the Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame to take place in January, there has since now been 4 announced inductees. So we've got Ruckus, who is going to be inducted by Sanjay Dutt.
Nice.
We've got Homicide, who's going to be inducted by Chris Dickinson. We've got Jerry Lynn, who's going to be inducted by Sean Waltman. And Dave Prazak, who there's nobody announced to induct him yet, but they're the 4 names so far.
Why is he the only one that hasn't got a name?
Well, I suppose somebody's going to. They just haven't announced it yet.
Fair enough.
Thoughts on the picks so far?
I'd have preferred to actually see Sanjay Dutt going in rather than inducting someone, but, you can't have it all, can you?
There's time.
If they make it like a yearly thing, which I'd hope they would, I think it's really cool to see it done in the first place.
Yeah. It is. Gives exposure to a lot more people that deserve it. That's, not in WWE.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, and that's it. And I think it just gives people that acknowledgement, I guess. Like for everything, like we said last week, the Indies is its own beast.
Yeah.
And shouldn't really be. I think we're past the point where we can look at the Indies as like, oh, well, you're in the Indies, but maybe you should get out and go somewhere. Like the Indies has become, for a lot of people, a perfectly sustainable
their main go-to
income.
Yeah,
for a lot of people, like it's where you can make your name, and you can make money now.
Yeah,
on the Indies, and it's it isn't like how it used to be. So yeah, these are the guys that helped make that happen, though. Someone like a Jerry Lynn.
Yeah, he paved the way.
Yeah,
and Homicide as well. Ruckus has been around for I think probably 20 years now. He's been wrestling.
Yeah,
and obviously Dave Prazak as well. I don't know how many they're going to have, but. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's awesome to see that.
It's a really, really good idea. And, I'm glad that it's happening. And like you said, even in the first place, it's a good thing that it's going ahead.
And I hope they take it serious.
Yes.
Because how many people take the piss out of the WWE Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
They take the piss out of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because some people that are in there probably don't deserve it yet. Yeah. Or people that aren't in it yet that deserve to be in it.
I don't think you deserve it.
But I'm going to give it to you anyway.
But yeah, well, the Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame again is going to take place on Saturday, January the 22nd, 2022, from the Cutting Room in New York City. The following night, however...
Do you reckon it'll be televised? On Fight or whatever?
I'd imagine it's going to be on Fight TV. Because obviously they've put tickets out to attend it live, so I would imagine they'll have that up on...
That'll be a good watch.
Yeah. I think it'll probably be part of a weekend package, which GCW usually does, because the following night is the World on GCW. Show, which is this is a huge milestone for GCW. So it's going to be held from the Hammerstein Ballroom, and they've sold it out.
Yeah,
it's going to be potentially the largest crowd to witness a wrestling show from the Hammerstein Ballroom, and that includes obviously when Ring of Honor's been there, and of course ECW.
Wow!
And so it was the first Raw venue ever.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
Hammerstein Ballroom is one of those it's a venue. It's just synonymous.
Iconic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's iconic and synonymous with pro wrestling.
Also helps that it's so close to the Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be a really big weekend. The World on GCW is going to be a big show for them anyway. But honestly, that whole weekend it feels kind of like their kind of WrestleMania, I guess.
Yeah, I think every company needs to have one of those.
Yeah, you need something big to build around, don't you? The show itself, I don't know sort of any matches announced yet, but the names that are going to be there. So Eddie Kingston is going to be there. Briscoe Brothers have been announced. Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green are going to be there. Of course, Nick Gage, Ali Catch.
Cardona, we just said him. Janela?
I think Janela should be there. Yeah. It's a big show. I'd imagine they'll probably pull out.
Paul White's going to be there.
All the stops. No, there's no more BS. No more BS. Yeah, I don't know. We were speculating last week on who we'd like to see going out. I will still be surprised if the Briscoes don't end up in it.
They deserve it. They've been, like I said, they've not been in any of the well, I don't know if you want to say a major Ring of Honor, but they've not been in WWE. I don't think they did Impact. They might be doing AEW soon, but yeah, they've been so set in their ways of being independent, not going into the big money.
Yeah, fair play to them. Yeah,
but that's like what we said before. Like they're obviously making their money. They're happy doing what they're doing.
And they're a name because
yeah, exactly, 100% they are a name. But I think that's the other thing when you work the indies is that you probably are in a lot more control of your character.
Yeah,
and the Briscoes they've evolved a lot through the years. Really, like you go back to the old kind of Ring of Honor 2005, 6, 7 era as opposed to now. and they look completely different, but they're still the Briscoes, and they are.
A part of me wants Delirious to go in, but I just wanted to be doing a Delirious promo. It'd be weird. Like, imagine when Undertaker does a Hall of Fame WWE, and it's just going to be him as Mark Calloway, not as the Undertaker.
Yeah.
I think that's probably going to be a lot easier now, though, because he's done so many out-of-character interviews since that retirement.
Yeah.
So
there's loads of people. It could be a separate episode, couldn't it? Who you think should be in the
top 10 coming soon?
Top 10, yeah.
Yeah, man.
There is so many.
That's an episode of itself, isn't it?
But it kind of answers one of the questions that we had last week, which was how, well, not from the WWE camp, obviously, but like how many guys they can probably reach out to that maybe aren't necessarily still working the indies as much.
Yeah.
Because Jerry Lynn's a backstage, I think, trainer or producer.
AEW,
Yeah, for AEW. But Sean Waltman inducting him in. See, Sean Waltman probably is a good fit to go in himself at some point.
Probably.
Funny thing, I'd have thought RVD would have
I was going to say RVD because he got history, but...
Yeah.
One of a kind.
History, but I think it's more from an ECW standpoint. I don't know, would you class ECW necessarily as indie?
Not really, because they're considered as the top
yeah,
three.
they were like classed as one of the...
It took them a while to get known as a third brand.
How does a top three work, though, do you think? Because like, once upon a time, before AEW even was a thing, your top three arguably was WWE, at least in the West, was WWE, TNA, and probably Ring of Honor, I would say. But Ring of Honor, would you class Ring of Honor as an indie?
They were always... I think they
It's a tough question.
But I think they class themselves as indie.
Yeah, I'd say they were indie, yeah.
That's what I mean, then, you see. So, and again, like, a lot of these guys have been Ring of Honor staples. Ruckus.
But when there was... because Insane Clown Posse have wrestled from basically every promotion.
Yeah.
But they always get promoted as they were in WWE, WCW, ECW, and Ring of Honor, and Impact. So do you say... It depends how you say that.
I guess the one way you can look at it is that there's tiers of indies, isn't there?
Yeah.
And they're at the top tier, and then, as you work down...
It's, well, again, we've got to see what happens with Ring of Honor in the new year now, because of this whole
it's a shame
contract
about
thing.
what happened to them, isn't it?
But like we said, GCW's risen up in the ranks massively over the last few years. And this Hammerstein Ballroom sellout is such a milestone. But I think we're probably going to see some really big things from him next year as well.
They had Moxley on there, didn't they, not long ago?
Well, he's their champ.
Oh, he still is?
So, yeah, he's still... Well, obviously with the whole rehab situation going on, don't know what's going to happen.
I think he's been booked for a show.
Do we know how long he's going to be in there for? Probably 3 months or something, wouldn't it?
Like I said, he's
maybe
apparently
longer.
Apparently he's been booked for a show, but I couldn't tell you where it is. And they have shown a match with him in Kingston against... I think it was a tag match they recorded for AEW that had been shown, or it was recorded for New Japan had been shown.
Oh, okay. But when did the match take place, though?
Ages ago, I think.
Oh, okay.
Like I say, it was Kingston and Moxley against, I think it's Ishii and...
Because Mox himself, I think Mox himself would be a good pick for something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Built up a huge name on the indies, and he was a name before he got to WWE.
I'll tell you who should be in it. Sick Nick Mondo.
Yeah, and he can do his own package as well.
Sick Nick Mondo.
Yeah, he could, yeah.
In all honesty, that's a massive shout. He's probably, I don't know.
Again, he should be in it.
It depends how they're going to do their, you know how WWE, like we said this last week, but WWE kind of does their, like...
Their tiers.
Yeah, like you have like the
one big one and then...
One big one at the top. And
someone who's died and...
Yeah, well, yeah, because they've got all these kind of different categories with the Warrior Award and all that sort of stuff. I don't know if necessarily they're going to do something like that, but... I don't know. To be honest, like it'd be good for them to take the glitz and glamour out of it and just make it like a genuine... And I'm not saying the Hall of Fame's not genuine, but you can definitely tell in more recent years it's become probably more of a struggle for them to fill and pad out the lineup.
It's because they pretty much put everyone in it already.
Look at 2005. I mean, even most of the people that were inducted in 2005 could have probably been at like a main event spot themselves. Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
Sheik probably could have been Sheik was... I know they're like bygone eras now, and they don't get talked about as much anymore because now the bygone era is the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
How does that make you feel?
But that's kind of, they're the old days now.
Yeah, and with women, now it's basically anyone who's in like the Ruthless Aggression era.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. So like Tori Wilson.
Yeah, Tori's been in, you got Trish in,
Stacey.
Yeah.
Stacey Keeper's not in it,
Lita.
but I'd imagine she would be.
Lita as well.
Lita, yeah.
Ivory.
Ivory's in, yeah.
Yeah. And I imagine you probably go through like Jacqueline and
yeah.
Sable and...
Well, Sable's not in yet.
No, but, well, Sable would have to go in at some point, wouldn't she? But again, from a women's standpoint, I don't know what they'll do from the indies.
The cat.
The cat, yeah.
The only woman wrestler from when I started paying attention to the indie scene was Daisy Hayes. But like I said, that's probably the only one I can think of at the minute.
Gail Kim.
I wonder if they maybe might do something for Daphne.
Probably.
Maybe, yeah.
Be nice, I guess. But, I mean, yeah, overall, it's all speculation, isn't it? But I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a really interesting weekend, and I can't wait to see... I love watching wrestling shows from the Hammerstein Ballroom.
It's got a different feel, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's really good.
Definitely. Awesome.
3 men. 1 ball. I did it.